last week we talked about potential support right here. So it's testing like 4100, and this is the accumulation area or the absorption area previously. So it actually provides some kind of the support. So we did get a bounce up right here. So there's definitely a bounce up, but on Friday, or there's a day, there's a Jackson hole where the stock market actually just got into a hole after Paul speaking. So there's a lot of things happening on this day. So apart from this bearish spread, so I think we haven't seen this kind of the bearish spread for quite some time, at least since this uptrend right here, or even from the bottom, right at the bottom, right at the low in June. So this sort of the spread is definitely some kind of the unusual. It just kind of mimic this kind of the volatility, or even the volatility back in May, June. So I think the volatility actually come back. So the volatility before back in May, June actually show up right after Paul speaking. So not really that encouraging for the bull. However, in terms of the supply level, I wouldn't say it's very extreme, but definitely there's increasing of the supply. If you check back to the previous level, I would say that is probably very similar to somewhere around here, or here. So I think that actually match up with the bearish spread together with the supply level as well. So usually when the volatility comes, it's just need to take the time to settle itself, to absorb the supply in order to move to the next stage. So right now, I would say that the reaction is still unfolding right at the top, since S&P 500 touched about 4,300. So right at the logical place to have a reaction. And also that's the supply line of the down channel. So despite we have an attempt to rally, this 2 days rally did not really overcome this down significant bar. So this is the last commitment bar to the downside. So it actually did not really overcome that. In fact, it's just sort of get tested and then have a reversal right there. So current reaction is still unfolding. So yesterday, we got some kind of the demand's presence. So although we do get some presence of the demand, if you definitely can tell right here, there's some kind of the effort versus results. But usually, I will just compare these two volume. But if you look closer, like maybe let's switch it to hourly time frame. Okay, so that's the hourly time frame. You can definitely tell that yesterday we got some kind of the rejection tail, 1 bar, 2 bar, 3, 4, and then eventually the close is kind of bearish as well. So close at a low. So overall, there's definitely a lot of the supply right here. And look at where it actually stopped. So this is not even the last hour bar. So this is the last hour bar is actually right here. So this is actually the next bar. So it just failed to actually overcome the low from yesterday. So sorry, from 2 days ago. So this is not really an encouraging sign. So this actually acted as a test. Okay, so this is kind of like impulsive movement, it's action, that's a test, and we still want to see some kind of the confirmation. So whether supply will be decreasing throughout and it can quickly recover or slowly recover, or would today just have another test all the way to around 41 and then probably have another reversal. Then I think that could be a level to initiate some kind of the short for very short-term trading, or otherwise this is definitely another level to watch as well, because right now it's sort of acted as like uptrust. So it's just kind of is temporary commitment, because we still don't know yet how this bar will close. So whether it will close below or whether it will close, well, kind of slightly have a test, maybe some kind of the demand tail, and then could rally up again. So overall, I still haven't really seen a very encouraging sign for the reversal. So right now, I would say that we are still in the pullback mode. Okay, so this is still a pullback mode. However, does it really matter? If you still recall my session last week, so last Tuesdays, we talked about multiple scenario. We talked about a very bullish scenario, which actually just kind of turned up from here. So bouncing up and then sort of consolidate and then eventually just break out. So this is the most bullish scenario. So the second kind of scenario is we do get this sort of the bar. I think I even draw this up. So we do get this kind of the volatility bar, big spread bar after Paul speaking. Then I think that will definitely break 4,100 level, and the next level is just logically just somewhere around here, is about 3,900 to about maybe 3,950. So somewhere around here will be a logical place for the support, for the demand, for the buyer hunters to come in. So right now we are kind of in the middle, in nowhere. So I will still want to wait for maybe another leg down, sort of push it to around 39.50. So another thing, if we look at it closely, I think the only encouraging sign is that we sort of get a little bit of the shortening of the trust. However, I'll say that it's really too early to tell at this stage because this is not really ended yet. So there's no reversal sign right here. So I would say that the reaction is still unfolding. So I think the best case would be to have another leg down and then to sort of test this access zone, access area, 3950, 4000, or even 3900. So this is the level that I want to see get tested and eventually want to see some kind of the change of character. So some kind of the largest up wave in order to probably stop this movement and preferably with a decreasing of the supply. So that certainly is still the bullish case. Maybe you could still record a 90 analog. So it's probably very similar to that analog. Under the most bearish scenario, I think we still could refer to the midterm election. So the midterm election cycle, I think there could be some kind of the last leg down back in October, have a spring, and then eventually just come back up. So ultimately, if you really want to talk about the big picture, here's the big picture. We do get a selling climax right here. This is the automatic rally. Subsequently, here's a trading range we're dealing with. So we got a sign of weakness with a lower low. We got some kind of the cost building projected here. We got an uptrust showing up as a string. Eventually, I think we do get some kind of increase of the volatility with the increasing of the supply. So wonder, would it be maybe last one of the support like LPS, or would it become a spring, go all the way down? So that's still yet to be determined, to be confirmed by the market. So Nikki say, so will 39.50 be the final low? Well, at the moment, it's still too early to tell, but certainly I still expect the current pullback, the current reaction still unfolding. I still haven't seen stopping action yet. So naturally, I would like to see a test of the level, like sort of 39, 39.50. So somewhere around this region, somewhere around this area. So we really need to see how the price actually interact with the level. If it really gets a lot of the buying, or maybe it's because like we could really get maybe another capitulation thing with an even spike of the supply, something like this, and eventually we could get reversal with even more volume. So suggest maybe some kind of the vertical absorption, or we could get like maybe exhaustion of the selling momentum, maybe something like this. So get another up, and then eventually some kind of the down move, and we got a change of character with a decreasing of the supply. So really, it just need to wait for the market to confirm. So first thing is definitely we want to see a bounce up from this level if it gets there. All right, so that's the S&P 500. So if you look at the rest of the index, I think it's very similar. So far, Nasdaq is probably take a big hit. If you look at Nasdaq, right now is probably coming back down, so that there is an axis sort of break below, and similar to here, there's S&P break below as well. So this is next level, similar to the 3950 or 4000. So this is somewhere around 12,000. So 12,000 is the immediate support level. And for Russell, there's still kind of maybe quite a fair bit of the distance. So maybe I think Russell is still showing some kind of the strength. So definitely Russell is outperforming, maybe followed by Nasdaq, and then eventually I think 3 and 4 is interchangeable with a Dow or the S&P. All right. So next is, let's see, crude oil. Crude oil is quite interesting. So last week we talked about, well, there's kind of no commitment to the downside, no follow through to the downside, because I've been talking about bearish scenario for crude oil since the uptrust after the distribution. However, based on the characteristics of the crude oil, I don't really see follow through to the downside, especially we get like the shortening of the trust to the downside. And then last week we talked about the bullish case, likely that it could reverse, and this is still the trading range. So this is still a big range for crude oil. Okay, so the crude oil finally coming back into the range, like above the 93 level. So this is 93.7.5. So it's just coming back above. So I will still treat this as a big trading range. So at least so far, short-term swing is still up. So as long as it still start within the trading range, I think there are still quite a lot of upside for the oil-related stocks as well. So that's why you see that last week, the stock that I covered, like VT, just break out, and I have really followed through to the upside, and quite a good run for VT if you got that. If you want to catch my latest videos, click on the subscribe button and the bell right now so that you get instant notification once I upload my latest video. If you want to check out my online courses, go to tradeprecise.com to find out how to profit consistently from any market without using complex indicator or understanding any financial statement, no matter you are trading or investing.